The year is 1274. In the waters between Korea and Japan, one of the largest invasion fleets the world has ever seen is cutting through the waves. Hundreds of ships, packed with tens of thousands of Mongol, Chinese, and Korean soldiers, are on their way to conquer the land of the samurai. This is the first great attempt by the Mongol Empire to invade Japan. Their first target, the small island of Tsushima. Waiting for them is a tiny force of just 80 samurai and their retainers, led by the island's governor, Sō Sukekuni. They know they are hopelessly outnumbered. They know reinforcements will not arrive in time, and yet they choose to fight. This isn't just a battle, it's a suicide mission. But to understand the sheer, beautiful madness of what's about to unfold, we have to look west, to the heart of a world-conquering empire. This was the age of the Mongols. Forged on the steppes by the legendary Genghis Khan, his grandson, Kublai Khan, now ruled an empire that stretched from the Pacific Ocean all the way to the mountains of Europe. From his magnificent court at Xanadu, Kublai believed it was heaven's will that the entire world submit to his rule. There were no independent nations, only those who had bowed to the Khan and those who were in a state of rebellion. And just off the coast of his new Chinese dynasty, one last prize glittered on the horizon. Japan. Why Japan? Well, for one, it was rumored to be a land of immense gold. Conquering it would also sever trade routes for his enemies. But more than anything, it was a matter of principle. The great Khan did not tolerate defiance, and the Mongol war machine was the most terrifying instrument of that will. Their commanders were masters of coordinating cavalry, infantry, and siege engineers. They practiced psychological warfare, leaving behind mountains of skulls to break the will of anyone who dared resist. And they had a new, terrifying technology that would change warfare forever. Gunpowder. This was the storm gathering on the horizon, aimed directly at the heart of Japan. Across the sea, 13th century Japan was a world unto itself. Ruled by the Kamakura Shogunate, this was a fiercely independent land of warriors, the samurai. For the samurai, war was an art form, a ritual governed by a code that would become known as Bushido, the way of the warrior. Loyalty, honor, and self-sacrifice were everything. Battles often began with a single champion riding forth, announcing his name and lineage, and challenging an enemy of equal rank to a duel. It was a spectacle of individual skill, completely unprepared for the kind of war the Mongols were bringing. In 1266, Kublai Khan sent a letter. The message was simple: submit and pay tribute, or be annihilated. For the proud samurai, this was an unimaginable insult. They didn't just refuse, they sent the envoys away without a reply. More envoys came, and each time they were met with silent contempt. For Kublai Khan, this public defiance could only be answered with one thing: invasion. In the shipyards of Korea, a massive fleet of nearly 900 ships was built to carry up to 40,000 soldiers. Their strategy was simple: seize the small islands between Korea and Japan, with the first stop being Tsushima. The island's defense fell to its governor, Sō Sukekuni. He was a seasoned warrior, but his forces were pitifully small, just 80 mounted samurai and their followers. These weren't just soldiers, they were fathers, husbands, and sons fighting to protect their homes. As they watched the Mongol armada darken the horizon, they knew they were doomed. They weren't fighting for victory, they were fighting for honor and to buy a little more time. On November 5, 1274, the first Mongol landing craft hit Komoda Beach. The invasion of Japan had begun. Sukekuni, following tradition, may have tried to initiate a formal challenge. The Mongols answered not with a champion, but with a volley of arrows. This wasn't war as the samurai knew it. There was no ceremony. One samurai, determined to start the battle the right way, rode forward and fired a whistling arrow to signal his challenge. The Mongols reportedly laughed, then unleashed a storm of arrows that cut him down before he could even draw his sword. In that instant, Sukekuni understood this was a clash between two different worlds. Realizing tradition was meaningless, he gave his final order a full, desperate, suicidal charge. The 80 samurai crashed into the Mongol front lines. For a moment, their ferocity and superior armor stunned the invaders. A high-ranking Mongol officer was even struck down, but it didn't last. The Mongols used their overwhelming numbers to surround the tiny force. The sky went dark with volley after volley of arrows, designed not to hit one man, but to saturate an entire area. Then came the terror weapon, iron bombs. Ceramic shells packed with gunpowder exploded with a deafening roar, throwing horses and blinding the samurai. Loud gongs and drums beat a disorienting rhythm, adding to the chaos. The charge faltered. The samurai were surrounded, isolated, and systematically slaughtered. Yet, they refused to break. They refused to surrender. They fought with suicidal courage as their code demanded. One by one, they fell. The 67-year-old governor, Sō Sukekuni, fought at the head of his men until the very end, leading one last charge before he and his final warriors were swallowed by the horde. The last stand at Tsushima was over. Every single one of the 80 samurai was killed. But their sacrifice was not in vain. During the chaos, a few small boats had slipped away, carrying a single message to the mainland. The invasion has begun. The warning had been sent. Japan would have precious time to prepare. The Mongols moved on, first to Iki Island, where another small garrison was heroically slaughtered, and then to the mainland at Hakata Bay. But here, warned of the new tactics, the mainland samurai were ready. They avoided open battle, instead launching guerrilla raids and daring nighttime attacks from small boats, setting the larger Mongol ships on fire. The Mongol advance stalled. Their commanders hesitated. Their massive fleet anchored in the bay. It was a fatal mistake. As night fell, a powerful storm descended, a typhoon. The Japanese would give it a name that would echo through history. Kamikaze, the divine wind. The storm smashed the Mongol fleet to pieces, crippling the invasion. The Mongol survivors limped back to the continent, their aura of invincibility shattered. In Japan, the story of the bloody defeat at Tsushima was transformed. It became a testament to the unyielding spirit of the samurai. So Sukekuni and his 80 warriors were immortalized as heroes. They didn't win the battle, they didn't even survive it. But their sacrifice destroyed the idea that Japan could be easily conquered. They forged a legend of defiance that would inspire an entire nation. 7 years later, an enraged Kublai Khan sent a second, even larger invasion force. But Japan, having learned its lesson, was prepared. And once again, as the massive fleet lay at anchor, a second, even more powerful kamikaze descended, annihilating the invasion and ending the Khan's ambitions for good. The story of the samurai of Tsushima is a paradox. It's a tale of a catastrophic military defeat that became a profound spiritual victory. Their last stand became the heroic prelude to the miracle of the divine wind. They didn't destroy the Mongol army with their swords, but they shattered the myth of Mongol invincibility with their spirit, proving that even the world's greatest empire could be defied. The history of the samurai is filled with incredible tales of honor and sacrifice. If you want to explore more of this fascinating world, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. What other legendary David versus Goliath battles should we cover next? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching.